Yes, we're trying the very best we can. Okay. Let me get my water. Okay. Please, are we all set with the basket where the forms are at? If anybody wants a hard copy of that survey, we are. I'll just get together with Denise and tell her to do that. The survey forms. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's all we need. I don't think we need. Yes, good. Thank you. Hey guys, oh, thank you, Bob. If anybody, yeah, well, it's only for the people who don't do it online because they don't have a computer and all that, so, and I don't think we have that many. So it said, if you haven't filled out your survey online, would you mind just doing this? And if we need more, that Denise is still around, we could just run and make a few copies more. And then all we could do is, I don't know, I was looking for a basket to put it in so they don't feel like.
What if a prayer is not a plea, a desperate call with tears that fall on bended knee, but breathing out and breathing in, it's God in me that lives and breathes, my trusted friend. My life is a prayer that God is praying. My thoughts are words that God is saying. My laughter is the sound of angels playing. My life is a prayer that God is praying. What if today I had chance to move and sway. God leads the way in my life's dance. What if I knew? If I knew, without a doubt, no need to fear. God's right here within, without. My life is a prayer that God is praying. My thoughts are words that God is saying. My laughter is the sound of angels playing. My life is a prayer that God is praying. My life is a prayer that God is praying. My thoughts are words that God is saying. My laughter is the sound of angels playing. My life is a prayer that God is praying. My life is a prayer that God is praying.
Good morning, everyone. What a beautiful, beautiful song. My life is a prayer. Can you feel that? You know, that everything that we say, that we do, every word that we speak is a prayer. And so take that into your heart. Good morning. It's so good to see everyone this morning. Nancy, I haven't seen you for so long. Welcome home. Welcome home. So good to see you here, and so some of you that are visiting for the very first time, so glad to have you with us. I am Rev Luz. I'm the senior minister here, and it's my pleasure and my delight to serve this amazing, wonderful, beautiful community that I hold so very dearly in my heart. For those of you that are visiting for the first time, this is kind of unusual during COVID time, but we welcome you. And we know that you will be blessed this day. We know that we have created something to bless you, and we release that to the Spirit to allow you to receive what's yours to receive this morning. So, happy Mother's Day. And so I was thinking this, oh yeah, happy Mother's Day, everyone. So earlier this week I was thinking about my own mom and how influential she has been and was in my life and continues to be, because I keep going back and having those memories of her, you know, and how special she was. And I thought about what it means to be a mom, what it means, myself being a mom, how it means to be able to take a life and be able to love it and nurture it and comfort it and give it wisdom and all those amazing things. And how is that possible for us to give from that place? Is because the love that we offer is truly a reflection of the love of God. the divine feminine expressing itself in through so many of us. So when I thought about that this morning, I said, in so many ways, almost all of us, because all of us have that essence of the divine feminine. So all of us can celebrate that we have nurtured and extended ourselves with the love of God to someone else. Some of us have had mothers that were not really as present, but we always had someone around us that loved us and guided us and showed us the way. So I'd like to dedicate today's service to all the mothers. Mothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, to those dads that had to be mothers, to those mothers that took care of the fur babies, any of those mothers, any time that you nurtured and loved someone. So think of it today. And I think I want to take just a moment, a sweet moment, because we all had a mom, to take and put your hand in your heart, close your eyes and think about your mom this morning. Wherever she may be, whether she's alive or not, and just say thank you. Thank you, Mom, for everything. And take a deep breath. Release that. And today we just dedicate the service to our moms. So before I begin, I'd like you to just turn around and greet your neighbor and say hello, namaste, we bless you, we love you from afar. And then I'm going to ask you to turn around and say hello to our Facebook and YouTube family. We love and bless you too. And hopefully soon we can all be together in this super sacred space. I so love that. So if you're ready, let us set the intention this morning by gently getting really comfortable in your chair and just being here. So I ask you to take a deep breath and let that go. In this sweet silence, we acknowledge the loving, living presence of God. The nature of God is always good. And there's an essence in each and every one of that God presence. And we feel that love, the divine feminine, flowing through this room as we're connecting heart to heart, knowing that where we are, God always is. And so whatever we feel this morning, we know that we are held in love, no matter what we're going through. God is, I am. And all good flows in and through me and for me. And so with this awareness that we are in presence with one another, in communion with one another, in oneness this morning, we rejoice in the knowing of this truth, that we are in an ocean filled of good. And though our eyes cannot always see it, our heart knows it. And we anchor ourselves in that amazing love that always embraces us, always is for us, always is guiding us, always moving us to express more of itself. And so as we come into this moment, we make the intention to be really present today, in the next hour that we'll be together. Just really present. Knowing with open hearts and open mind that we are here by divine appointment. And there is something wonderful for us to receive. And as we receive it, to know that we can send it out to others in this beautiful cycle of giving and receiving. We see all blessings flow. And we are grateful, God, for all of it. Thank you, God. And so it is. So would you say the affirmation of oneness with me this morning? There is one presence in the universe and in my life, God the good, all powerful, all knowing, everywhere present, right here, right now, God. Namaste.
Of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. In the midst of His children, the Lord said He would be. It doesn't take very many. It can be just 2 or 3, and I feel the same sweet spirit that I felt oft times before. Surely I can say that I've been with the Lord. Of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. The presence of the Lord is in this place. There's a holy hush around us as God's glory fills this place. I've touched the hem of His garment, and I can almost see His face, and my heart is overflowing with the fullness of His joy. I can say without a doubt that I've been with the Lord. For surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power
pray, surely the presence of the Lord is within each and every one of you. Good morning. Happy Mother's Day to all, including my mom. She comes to me more now that she's transitioned than she ever has before. Thanks, Mom. Okay, we're going to get ready for a meditation, and if you will just relax and take some deep breaths. Just feel yourself center into your chair. If you're comfortable, feet flat on the floor. And as you breathe in, feel that breath fill your lungs. Deep, easy breath and release. If you're comfortable, gently close your eyes and be aware of this precise, precious moment. This meditation is for remembering who you really are. You were born perfect into an imperfect world. You are divine. You are beloved. And you are enough. We forget we are enough. You are, always have been, and always will be enough. You are unique. What you are about is releasing your divine potential, stirring up the gifts of God within you. Awaken and remember that true image that was yours before the world was. Unity teaches us original sinlessness, our original goodness. As we take this into the silence, say silently to yourself, I am beloved. I am divine. I am whole. As we are nearing our time to return, know that you have a choice. Choose not to put any limitations on your divinity. Remember, you are divine. You are beloved. You are whole, and you are enough. Take a deep breath, and when you are ready, gently open your eyes and be aware of this precise and precious moment. And so it is. Namaste.
We're going to sing the Lord's Prayer today. Join me in doing this. In heaven, hallowed be thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory Just beautiful. And what a great meditation, Rhonda, to remember that you are divine and you are enough. Wow, just maybe need to keep ourselves a little reminder somewhere in our cars and our mirrors. You are divine and you are enough. So what now? What now? Last week, you must always wonder, what is she up to? Well, last week we started the new series based on the book by Ellen Davenport, Hell in the Hallway, Light at the Door. And the series is really intended for us to help us, move through our times of transitions. And I bet you if there's anyone in this room, if I say, how many of you are going through a transition, it would probably be half of this room, maybe even more. Because change is what brings us into this place of transition. And boy, have we had a lot of change this year and last year. So when we are in this change, it means when we find ourselves in transition, when change kind of comes and changes the landscape of our lives, really. Things have been topsy-turvy, turned over, not the same as they used to be. And then we find ourselves in this unfamiliar place where a door has locked but yet another door hasn't yet opened, and so we are in the hallway. That's what we are. We are in the hallway. And the hallway is such a sacred place because it's a place where there is incredible opportunity for transformation. A lot is happening in that hallway. And in that hallway, one of the things that happens is that we experience all this emotional pain. Remember we spoke about that last week? We experience all kinds of emotions. Anger, sadness, depression. I mean, you go on and on and on because we are having to deal with these emotions and not bury them, not ignore them, not deny them, but to face them right on. Try to allow ourselves to feel what we're feeling so that these emotions that is just really an energy in motion can move through us. And so we spoke a lot about that last week. And I remember as I was preparing for this week what Eckhart Tolle said, that when we don't do that, when we don't allow ourselves the opportunity to sit, lean into the feeling that we're having, then that feeling buries itself in our body, and we walk around with a pain body, which is a body that's full of emotional distress. And he says, Eckhart Tolle says, become aware not only of the emotion. This is what we want to do. Become aware, because it is the only way that you can soothe it. Otherwise, it will keep showing up and keep showing up. And if you don't deal with it, it gets lodged somewhere in your body, and it keeps somehow nagging at you. Please pay attention. I need you to acknowledge I am here. And so Tolle says that one way that we can do that is become aware not only of the emotional pain that we're feeling, but also of the one who is observing it. The silent observer, just watching this pain and allowing yourself to feel it, but also watching it, because that is where the power is. You are divine. And that pain is not meant to stay with you. It is meant to give you the gift that it has come here to give you. And it's hard to understand that until you allow yourself to feel it. To feel your feelings without feeling bad about feeling your feelings, without having to judge them, without having to do any of them. God is wherever you are. And that love that is God, that divine feminine part of God's nature, always holds you in its embrace and is part of you, because you are from that. You are love. Then they can dissolve and be part of what dealing with our feelings. So what else? What now that we are in the hallway? What release and rise higher? What is that? What is the spirit challenges that all life transitions have in common? To move consciously through a period of change and to milk it for any divine lesson and soul growth it has to offer. That is really powerful. That we are here for a reason. That what is happening to us is not something that is happening, as a victim kind of thing, but it's for us. And that would help us to understand that we can move through it because we have all that we need to do so. In the hallway, when that door closes and you can't reopen it, you just can't, because a lot of times what we want to do is we want to fix it. We want to go back and try to open that door. And once it's shut, it's shut. You can't fix it. You can't open a door that has been closed in the cosmic realm. And so there's nothing that you can do to reopen it other than to grieve the loss. To grieve what once was. To grieve it. And allow yourself to take the time, whatever time you need to arrive to a place where you can acknowledge that it has happened, that door will not open, that relationship will no longer be the same, that you will never see that loved one, that transition, that whatever it is, the loss, accept it, acknowledge it, and accept it for what it is. And then begin to ask yourself, what now? Here I am, what now? There are so many people that are wanting to support us during that time of transition. Can you remember a time when you were in transition? How many people showed up? And they say it to you. How can I help you? How can I be with you? How can I support you? They desire to do that for us, and yet what happens? We tend to want to deal with our pain in isolation. And so we magnify the suffering that we have. And yet that person that has shown up in your life, or those people that have shown up in your life, really have been divinely ordained to be there. And they're there to offer you the love of God. They become the expression of that divine feminine that is there to nurture you and support you during that time when you yourself don't have any desire to be supported at all. I know that when Danny transitioned, I went into a place of isolation. I didn't want anybody to deal with my pain. As a matter of fact, I almost treated it as if it was a god. You know, it's mine. You can't go in. I'm not letting you know what is in here. I'm not letting you anything. I didn't want it. And then when I realized I really truly needed it, and I finally extended myself to the people that are around me that loved me and care about me, I was able to move through that experience so much easier because their love sustained me. It was like a light, a breath of fresh air. And now I realize that it was God showing up through them. So allow, if you're going through this time of transition, allow yourself to have the people around you that care for you and love you to be able to support you. I'll put a plug in for our grief group. We have a grief group right here in Unity of Citrus. That is an amazing grief group. And if you ever need to be supported, that is a place that you can come to. And you will feel loved. And you will heal. But that's what we're doing. We're trying to heal those spaces in our heart that have been wounded. Davenport, in her story, she shares a beautiful story about a woman named Marilyn. Now, Marilyn went through the 12-step program and was able to become sober. And she was sober for years, and she was feeling like, wow, this is great. My life is finally getting, back to normal. I have so many things going on. She was in a happy place. And then one day, out of the blue, her job, she was in this career for 14 years, and she was ousted because they had to downsize. The company had to downsize. So she lost her job. And to make matters worse, her life partner, she lost that too. That life partner went with someone else. And there she was again, in the hallway. And this is what she says. I found myself in a hallway that felt more like a coffin with the lid nailed shut. No light and no air, and filled with grief and despair. Boy, can I remember that. I sat on my back porch, cried, spewed in my journal, talked on the phone, shriveled up and withered in spirit and body, and refused to accept it. She wanted to open that door again, huh? And I was too tired, too hurt, too afraid, and too weak to remake myself. And why bother anyway? Can you relate when you were there at one point? Yeah, I can. The hallway appeared endless, but, and here's the nugget, but my friends cared. And so I suited up and I showed up 1 minute at a time, because that's what I knew how to do then. And I needed to feel their love and listen, and I needed them to listen to me and hug me and believe that I could, help me believe that I could pass through this. All I needed to do was to keep breathing and showing up. And somewhere deep inside of me, I knew I would see the sunlight and feel something besides the sadness. Because there's something there, that little voice within that says, you will get through this. I knew that there was a power greater than myself that was in charge. I knew that intuitively. I knew that any rebuilding would not be of my own making. I didn't even want to rebuild, nor did I know where to begin. A full year passed in this hallway before I felt the shift. And I knew I had crossed the huge threshold, and I had been led by God, expressing as the people that I had allowed in my life and in my heart. You are the face of God. You are the expression of God. You are the only God that anyone will ever see. And so, when we show up, when we allow each other to be in the space of those that care for us, we begin to feel that love that reminds us who we are and that we're safe and that we can conquer just about anything. So when I read that story, when I became aware of Marilyn, that really made me feel, wow, she really had a lot of lessons in that story. She stayed conscious in her pain. She didn't try to hide it or ignore it or deny it. She didn't try to escape it. She was right there with her pain. She acknowledged it. She saw it. She felt it. She didn't judge it. She just allowed herself to feel it, as long as it needed to last. It was a whole year. Sometimes it's many years. And she trusted in a power that was greater than her very own human nature, and allowed herself to be lifted up by that, to be guided by that. And she took responsibility, a very important one, responsibility for moving through, if only by showing up every day a little bit more, one breath at a time, 1 minute at a time. There was something inside her that said, this too shall pass. And this is how we endure that artist's work of grieving. Grieving is hard. With the love and the support of our loved ones is the only way we can do it. It took me a while to realize that. And when I did, I learned the lesson that I applied when my mom transitioned. It was different. When my mom transitioned, I reached out. I felt the pain. I didn't hide it. And I knew that I was supported and loved by so many of you in this community, by my friends, by my family. And it made the transition so much easier because I learned that God is loving me through you. You are the expression of God. Another thing that Marilyn did well was that she didn't dwell in the question, why me? We do that sometimes, don't we? Why me? It becomes like, it pops up in her mind, I'm sure, because it pops up almost in everybody's mind. But when we linger in that question, why me, we fall right into a victim mentality. Someone's doing something to you. And we spend all our energy in self-recrimination and second-guessing. I should have taken better care of my health. Or we'll say, why didn't I see this coming? Or we might say, how can God let this happen? Why is this happening to me? And so we fall into panic and blame and self-pity. And it just makes everything, a difficult situation, so much worse. And the spiritual work there is to become mindful of our thinking, because the thinking creates the experience of our reality. So when we're in that transitional hall, we really want to be mindful about what is it that I'm allowing to take root in my mind. As we celebrate the power of the month, which is power. Within us there is this power to take control and dominion of our thinking and allow ourselves to return to the truth that we know, that we are divine, that we are enough, that we have enough, and that life is not doing something to us, but for us. No, for us. You see, because when you allow yourself to be in that why me question, if you dwell in that, you will not allow yourself to consider the good that is coming out of that experience. And quite the contrary, what happens to you is that we move into this error thinking realm where we believe that there is a God out there somewhere who is arbitrary and callous and decides who he will dispense good things to and not so good things to others. Keeping a little checklist like Super Santa Claus. You've been bad, so no, I'm not going to answer your prayer. No. And so, and it keeps us in that place where we keep saying that bad things happen to good people. Well, there in this, truly, when you understand that God's nature is absolute good, there is no opposite. And in that realm we move and breathe and have our being, and that all good flows to us. When we can grasp that, when we confirm that, then we can see that what is happening is not happening to me, it's probably happening for me. Because every experience in this life is here to help evolve our soul, to help us to rise higher, to help us understand who we are and why we're here and what we're made of. Every experience. So the question is not really, why is this happening to me, but why did this happen? What now? What are the lessons that I can gather from here? What is it I need to let go? Davenport says that what if somehow this is happening for you? The divine part of you is offering you an opportunity for inner work and insight. Life is like a cross-country road trip. Sometimes the scenery is bleak, but it is leading you where you want to go, to the destination you truly want, at your deepest, more divine level of desire. There's a deep longing within you, the divine in you that wants to express more of itself, wants you to tap into that part of you that is all peace, all good, all love. And sometimes these experiences that we are going through will help us to do that. So the whole way is not an accident, and you're not a victim. How can you be? You're a child of God, a spiritual being that has come here to have a human experience. What you're going through now might become, who knows, part of something, a magnificent manifestation somewhere down the line. So even when the pain, be aware that there is good that is surfacing, and appreciate the love and the support that you're getting from everyone else. And here's another thing that we are encouraged to do while we are in the hallway, and that is to surrender. My goodness, isn't that hard? We want to control everything. It's hard to surrender. But sometime in that hallway, there's going to come a moment when you just will. In other words, you just will. You'll get tired of trying to figure it out. You get tired of being the victim. When we start, you'll get tired of lingering in the past of how it was or worrying about what it would be. And you let go. And you surrender. You breathe in, you let go. And when you begin to let go, when you begin to surrender, then some sort of soothing balm comes in and begins easing the suffering. There's another story in the book that I want to share with you. It's about a woman named Angela, and she had a daughter who was severely anorexic. At the age of 14, her heart was damaged. Can you imagine? And she spent many months, in eating disorder program. She was at the point where she was only eating about 12 grapes a day. And so the nurse practitioner, the nurse therapist, one day says to Angela, the mom, she says, I want you to give her a slice of pizza. And Angela said, well, my God, how am I going to do that? She's not going to want to do that. And this is what Angela said. My little girl was wearing a heart monitor and was not allowed to exert herself in any way. And I told her she had to eat a slice of pizza. To say that she went crazy on me is an understatement. She ran to the bathroom, locked herself in, and screamed for 15 minutes straight. And I stood in the hallway, engulfed in hopelessness. I slumped myself to the floor crying, my body slamming against the hall door, shutting it. And it was a dark hallway, literally and spiritually. At some point, I told God that I just knew I could not control this situation. I just couldn't. I could not make her eat. I could not make her stop screaming. I could not make her heart work. And almost in that moment, I remember the moment that my grief just poured out of me. And it emptied itself. And in poured this amazing love. And in an instant, my daughter walked out of that bathroom. She shoved surrender. I could just imagine the joy of this mom when she felt her daughter, when she saw her daughter's progress, and realizing that all she had to do all along was to accept and surrender, that what was needed would show up. So accept and surrender. Surrender doesn't alter your, it doesn't really change sometimes what's happening, but it gives you a sense of peace of mind, that you don't have to do all this on your own. There's a divine purpose in all of it. And there's a lot of work that we have to do in the hallway. There's a lot of letting go and trusting and allowing people to help us and feeling our feeling. There's just so much work in the hallway. But I have to tell you, my friends, no matter how difficult it will get there, the energy of love and the power that we call God, that is, we are expressing, that is within us, part of us, is always with you wherever you are. You will never face anything too challenging, for there is power within you that is greater than anything. And trust that you are held in love. Even though you have to go through all the steps, nothing in this realm is against you. And everything here is for you and is evolving your soul. And so I encourage you that if you are going through a difficult time in the transition, how long you may be in that place, know that that it is for you. It is for you. And it's creating in you what you are meant to always reflect. I love and bless you, and I hope that you know that you are divine, and that you are enough, and that you are loved, and that you have everything that you need, no matter what experience you will go through on this earth. Namaste.
Why would we want to change direction when God's own plan is true a perfection? We too have a place within God's perfect plan. Surrender in faith, woman and man. The river knows which way to flow. The plants also know how they are to grow. The breezes know where to blow. And in faith we allow God's seeds to sow. So why would we want to change direction when God
streams and lakes and flowers and trees. So why would we want to change direction when God's own plan is true perfection? We do have a place within God's perfect plan. Surrender in faith, woman and man. Surrender in faith, woman and man.
Thank you, Reverend Luz. And thank you, Nancy. Beautiful song. Thank you. This is a time in our service where we give of our gifts, our tithes, our offerings. Excuse me. And if you will, take your gift, hold it in your hand, hold it to your heart. And we'll say together our offering blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I send forth this gift with my blessings and my love. We thank you for this offering. We know that it is given in love and it will be received in love. Know that it moves through this ministry with the energy of divine love out into the world only as good. Each giver is blessed and each giver is loved. Bless the receiver and fill our gift with love. And so it is. Amen. And if you will, together we'll do our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, all is well. Namaste.
Before you leave, I have just a few announcements. Thank you for being with us today. We are always so blessed by your presence. And I have to write all my allowances because sometimes I forget. But if you are watching this video, I want you to please like, subscribe, and share. You know, this week someone told me that they watched a video that we did last week and they were truly blessed. Not yet coming to church, but they're receiving it. So like, subscribe, and share is what I ask you to do. And Nancy, thank you for that rendition. I want you to know that Connie Thompson wrote the words, and Nancy was able to put them to music. That was absolutely beautiful. Thank you. And thank you, Connie. And I've been asking you to fill out a survey that is in the weekly wake-up, and some of you have said to me, I really don't go to the weekly wake-up to fill out that survey, so we made hard copies for you to fill them out, and really that is more information for us to be able to determine when are we going to open the church more fully. So please, it's just 4 questions, just fill it out real quickly. It's anonymous, you don't have to put your name on it, and turn it into an usher, and they will, turn them into me so I could count them. One other thing. Oh, there is a great great workshop coming up. It's called Glorify Sound. And I had the opportunity to meet with the facilitator who is going to offer that workshop. It is amazing what she can do. She has all the singing bowls and some goji bells. I mean, it was just absolutely wonderful. If you're interested in joining her, because I think that's going to fill up really quickly, go to the Weekly Wake Up and sign up, or call the office and let us know, and we'll make sure that we sign you up. You can do it's an hour long of this amazing music that she does. She does a little bit about explaining what she does, and then she goes right into it and works with you individually. But you can do it in your chair, you can do it lying down, either way that you want it. So Glorify Sound, please look at your Weekly Wake Up, or call the office if you want to attend. And on your way out, you will receive a beautiful carnation from Unity of Citrus, letting you know how much we love you, and encouraging you to use that divine feminine love that you are in everything that you do and wherever you go. I will meet you in the back. Namaste. Have a great, great, great week. And bless you.
Why would we want to change direction when God's own plan is true perfection? We too have a place within God's perfect plan. Surrender in faith, woman and man. The river knows which way to flow. The plants also know how they are to grow. The breezes